Hi, this is me laying under the car with a funny shield. Today's video is working under the car, stripping and grinding and prepping for paint, as well as painting and stripping the car down. So you can see the rust all over the car, all this little stuff. I got a wire wheel and I take all of it off. So I have a fan that blows right in my face so that the rust doesn't sit on me. I got a face shield. I got a sweatshirt on. It is winter time when I'm doing this. So I got to clean all of this section to make sure that the car is ready. Most of the front side is new, so there's not a whole lot up there. Mostly in the back. So I got to grind off these crappy welds, clean up a lot of stuff, probably patch some things, patch this up a little better, fix these. And yeah, so here we go. Let's get going on what I did to paint underneath. So now it's all wire wheeled. Didn't look like a whole lot changed, but you can tell the rust is gone. This is the passenger side body mount. Looks pretty good. And then as I wheel myself over here, you can see now that this is the driver's side. And look what we have. My old friend rust. It rusted there and there and there and there. So I got to build a new little piece for this. I'll build a piece that comes across like this all the way up. And that way it's all just new and stable right where my body sits, which is partly why I didn't put it on rotisseries and things like that. That's a part I already patched. This fender's going to need a little love, but most of this stuff turned out pretty good. I did find one other spot up in the front. Let me see if I go up there and show you. Maybe. I worked my way around, but it's all pretty good shape. But then right there, boom. So I get to take this section, I'll cut it out, patch it up, make sure it's nice. And yeah, so wire wheeling it made me pretty confident that most of the metal's good. Most of it looks really stable where I didn't have to take it out. I'll have to clean a little bit more here and there. Take these bolts, clean this up a little bit better, work underneath it. Trying to make sure I don't miss a whole lot because the frame's off, and this is when you prep it and paint it. I don't want to do the frame off again. That's a lot of work. So now that I got this hole cut out, you can see I got this piece of pipe, this plate, and so I just build a new piece, nothing too fancy. I learn a lot of this stuff on YouTube, so Fitzy's Garage and Jap Hands and Half-Ass Customs. I use those guys all the time to give me good advice, and I watch their little clips, and boom, I get stuff done. So when I was doing the inner fender, I did it, and you can tell I didn't do a very good job. It has a major gap. So I'm going to just take and zip that apart right there, cut it out, take these tacks off. Everything was lightly tacked, so I'll just take it, cut it, zip it, turn it, and put it all back. I'll show you. So this is the inner fender in case you're confused. I tried to make them, but this gap is not acceptable. That's just a giant mud clod waiting to get stuck, and here it is fixed. I cut it, zipped it, tipped it over, put a little plate up there, and this is nice so that I got it tacked in half decent. I know I went back and tacked a little bit more, but I don't want to put too much on the fender, but I do want to put some on the fender, and don't judge me. I don't care. I can't weld, I know that. You should have seen that in the other videos, but this is the passenger side, so it says pass. But yeah, then everywhere it goes, I'll put some seam seal to hide the cracks. Now, I got the firewall. You can see that I have primer of different types. I got bare metal. I got all this junk. So I feel like I should strip this whole thing. So you got old nasty, you got all kinds of junk. So I decided stripping time. So I spent a bunch of time, a couple hours, and I stripped this whole front end. Ready? Boom. There it goes. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Either way, I got it all stripped out. And anywhere there was still primer stuck, I figured that's good primer, scratch it and paint onto it. But it looks way better. It's shiny, nice, clean, good surface. At least I think it's a good surface. And then I put some rust stopper on in a minute to help with any of the spots that are questionable. And it looks pretty good to me. I get all excited when stuff looks half decent. So I put the rust inhibitor stuff. So I I'm this guy who goes and buys crap off the internet, and I bought this rust inhibitor prep paint stuff, and I've been using more of a tractor stuff where you paint it on, it turns black, and it's a primer. I didn't read the instructions on this other one that was a little bit cheaper, but apparently it's a cleaner prepper rust thing, and you're supposed to keep it wet for 30 minutes with the chemical, and it creates a rust to not rust chemical nerd stuff. And I did it, but it is cold. It's like 30 degrees outside. It's winter time. Maybe 50. It's there at Phoenix. But I then had to wash my car. And if you ever thought about how stupid you are to take a shower of chemicals while you have to climb under a car, well, that's me. I'm kind of stupid. So this is after I washed it. I'm freezing, I'm shaking, but that looks so sexy with the gloss on the car like that. I had to get a video. Look at that. It's got reflection and it's 70-year-old paint. I'll screw that up later, but the front looks good. You can see the, I think it's zinc reaction to the rust up here. I don't know. I'm not a chemical person. I just buy stuff. I don't even read the label. I just do it, and then I read the label and go, oh no, I screwed up. But that's how I do things. I'm kind of stupid this way. So there's the car. It's looking pretty good. So now I let it dry overnight, and the next day I play seam seal guy. So you can see me with my rubber gloves holding up my heavy head, and I am putting seam seal on everything that I ever welded for hours. So I've got, this is what I did. My wife must have thought I was lazy and came out and videoed me, but this is hard work. You have to keep going. Look how hard it is. Everywhere I go, I seam sealed and seam sealed and seam sealed. I'm not laying on the job. No, this is hard work. It's actually really enjoyable and rewarding because you're like, this is almost going away, and it looks horrible. So as you put seam seal on, you put it everywhere you ever welded, possibly any divots, cracks, dimples that could catch water and create a rust spot. So I welded a whole bunch on this car, if you can't tell. Everywhere I've touched, I welded. The rust stopper turned this stuff black. It's gross. Everything's dried up, looking good, seam sealed. This is my first time using seam sealer. I suck at it, but I got it everywhere. And it's the first time I've ever painted anything bigger than like a napkin holder or a sign with something like that. So it's kind of fun learning how to do all this stuff. At least it was easy. You could do it on my back. But see those inner fenders? I told you I'd fill them in, and I did. Seam sealed in, real nice. The spare tire, everywhere I stuck a weld, I seam sealed it. Both fenders looking good. That spot that I showed you earlier with the body mount, boom, everything. And this trunk that was super rusted out. So that was a lot of seam sealing. Ugh, it was fun, right? Okay, so now I'm priming. Do you know what that means? I'm learning something new. Like, don't buy the cheapest gun at Harbor Freight. When you do that, you end up with crappy paint skills, and you think you're doing nothing right when really your gun just is a piece of junk. So I painted the whole firewall. You can see the canister on top. You can't paint under a car very well with it because it's a gravity fed, and so as I start painting, it dumped in my face. So that was an exciting day to eat primer. But it worked fine on the firewall, kind of, maybe, sort of. I had to go watch a bunch of car painting videos on YouTube. I watched hundreds of them because I had no idea what I was doing, and then I got some primer down. I learned a valuable lesson when I was priming that if you don't have a perfectly good surface, you end up with crappy stuff in your paint, and yeah, it sucks. So I could only get the firewall, and it had issues. Ready? So right here, you can see the spider web issue I had here, and it was in a few spots. So some sort of chemical didn't like some other chemical, and I'm not a nerd chemically, so I didn't care. But I got the whole thing primed again, and this is underneath. See how much better it looks with seam seal and metal the same color? It's way cool how clean the car finally starts to look like a real car. You can't tell how crappy I welded as much. Everything's looking better and better the more primer I get on it. So I primed this thing, I don't know, several times. You can see the firewall's looking better because I bought a gun that wasn't the low end of the thing, and I bought the canister kit that goes on it with the little baggies that suck down as you spray, that holds the vacuum in there, which is really nice. And you can see how much better this panel turned out and how much better up here turned out. Everything turned out real good. And so I'm super happy with how this primer's laying down. I think I did 3 to 4 coats of it to make sure I didn't miss anything. But yeah, I got a lot of primer done, so guess what you do next? Paint. So you can see I got the better canister. I think it's the same gun. I get a new gun later, but same garbage gun. But look at this. That is the color. And if anyone ever asks, oh, who painted your car? I did it. Does it look good? No, I did it. That's the point. I had fun trying to learn. I did find out later, after I was craving potato chips for hours, that the respirator filters I'm wearing, if you notice, anybody who's ever painted knows that they work until they saturate, and then you just get high and you get headaches and the munchies. So I had the munchies because this is the wrong filter. I showed my boss at work and he's like, wow, you're an idiot. Those are the wrong canisters. So he showed me what the right canisters were, and later in the videos you'll see me with the correct canisters with the proper filtration levels. But I just like to show you I painted my own car ghetto style in my backyard with an air compressor, not quite rattle can, but this is just some single stage red, and I painted and I painted and I painted and I painted some more, and look, I'm painting underneath and I keep painting underneath, and I'm fighting a air hose, and you see the face mask? That's because the one time I dumped paint on it, I wouldn't take it off underneath because I didn't want it all in my face. The overspray is everywhere, but you can see how much shinier it's looking because I'm painting, and this canister allows you to paint upside down a little bit. It's got a little bag in there, and it squishes. It reminds me of an infant bottle to avoid bubbles so babies don't burp. It's the same technology, just there's no babies getting burped, I guess. It's my baby getting painted, but anyway, I keep painting underneath, and then look, I paint on the front. And if you see the air hose coming up through under the car, what I basically would do is I would start on the back where no one will see my paint job, and I would paint and paint and paint and creeper all the way through, and then I'd paint the firewall. And I did 3 to enough coats. I ran out of paint. That's how I knew it was enough. So this is it all painted, sitting in the sun. That's me so excited. Look, it's shiny under where the tires sit. It's shiny over there. It's shiny over here. And this is my favorite video. My mode of transportation for fancy high quality effects. Red undercarriage car thing. Look at all the red. Everything is painted with multiple coats. I love how it's turned out. The undercarriage is painted, and look at that, all the fenders. I spent hours painting this thing, hours stripping this thing, hours doing there's days into this video in case you guys are just taking it for granted. This is a lot of fun stuff I had to work through. So with it all painted, now it's in the shade and dried. The day or so later, I think it looks a lot better. I was super nervous that it looked like a weird reddish bright color and not exactly what I hoped, and I was like nervous still looking at it this way, but I was like, I'm not redoing it. Forget that crap. That's a lot of work. So I got it painted. The next step is strip it down. So the windshield, I got it torn out. I got to get all the stuff cleaned out so that next time I can paint the inside from right here all the way down through, and then I'll do all the interior painting. So not this video, but the next one I'll start doing that. But I got most of it stripped out. I still got to get the side windows out and the back window. So I got to keep stripping. You're welcome. And I'll get it all cleared out. That's my chrome on the top of it. But I love the red. It's not looking like a piece of rusty trash. Now, everything's stripped out of the car. The back window's out for the first time in at least 30 years. And yeah, I put some rust stopper on a few of the key spots that were rusty looking. I got it prepped and working. This car is getting closer and closer. I did find, guess what? Right there. Guess what's there? Winter rust. Everywhere I look on this car, there is rust, and I have to fix this too, but I'm not going to show you because, well, I lost the video. So, I hope you guys enjoy watching me be a stripper and watching me be a painter and watching me get mad at painting and get high. So, you guys have a wonderful time. See you on the next video. Woohoo!